Well, it looks like it's the only matter of time where I believe we're going back into level 2 again, but this time it's pretty obvious about the fact though with the different time of day. And on top of all that stuff though, Pac-Man, that I'm going to be taking control of not Homer again, but Apu for a change. Yeah, I guess that makes it a little bit different then, huh? Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and I'm Mighty the Armadillo here, and I'm Pac-Man here, and we are back for yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, as always. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of the Simpsons Hit and Run for the Nintendo GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, and PC. So, last time, we have essentially managed to 100% through everything in terms of level 4, despite the fact that we have to do multiple jump cuts due to the forms of failed montage, or to be more specifically, failed attempts during the course of checkpoint races, and also at the same time though, the most hardest collectible cards we ever obtained in the game so far. So, because obviously certain collectibles are now starting to get a little bit more difficult to obtain these days, so yeah, today for this video is the fact that we're going to be hitting on to level 5, which, from the look of it anyway, like I said before, level 5 is basically level 2 again, except now it's in a different type of, time setting, or to be more specifically, a different time of day, as far as I meant to say. And on top of all that stuff, though, is just the fact that this is what the later missions are going to get much more tougher these days. And also, as you can see, since that I usually just managed able to take it down, not one, but 2 wasp cameras and during the exact same placement. Well, mind you, on the forms at different spots, because as you can tell, they now start to get a lot more aggressive this time around though, because in addition to able to running away from you, or start to run away from you, or should I say, flying away from you from the furthest away distances, but also, get this, they now started added in shields this time. So meaning about the fact that you have to attack the actual the wasp camera within 2 hits until you realize that you will able to actually deal the amount of damage to the forms of those specific wasp cameras in mind. So yeah, I think that's as far as you can usually tell when it comes to the later levels might start to get a little bit more difficult these days. And also, just like the forms of how it does it on level 4, that basically, as you can tell, we've recently managed to grind for more of those coins because, exponentially speaking, that of course, certain costumes and certain vehicles coming up, including some of these required vehicles and even required costumes to obtain, that basically is going to get much more expensive. So because of this though, thankfully we did manage to able to grind for more coins off screen, so just in case we can able to hit back onto let's just say level 1, level 2, and level 3, and level 4. So hopefully we can able to actually grind for more coins. Although, eventually though, Pac-Man, if we hit on to the next level after this though, we can pretty much expect about the fact that we'll pretty much guarantee that we might able to actually hit back into level 3 again, except this time it's going to be taking place in night time almost. So as a result though, and also you might as well able to take control of a different character, so because of that though, we'll pretty much have to save that conversation until specifically next week. So because of that though, we can pretty much expect how this is going, so yeah, today's date is of course the 20th of May today, in this case in 2022 today. So, few things we want to explain while this is going on. Recently, first off, is the fact that, relatively speaking, when it comes to the uploading schedules on this, for now on, that, we're probably not going to be able to upload more of this game during the course of specifically Thursday from now on, though, to be more specifically, Thursday the 26th of May, because, relatively speaking, about the fact that, according to what Maxi has, well, almost trying to mention something related to the forms of Kirby and the Forgotten Land, that hopefully he will be back onto that game at some point during the course of let's just say until next Tuesday, and also next Thursday, potentially, so hopefully he will able to actually finishing up the entire game, because it's been about a couple of weeks since we actually last played Kirby and the Forgotten Land, just because of the forms of trying to able to play this game for a bit, and trying to catch up with the forms of the uploading schedules in particular. So yeah, you probably get the idea about that. So as you can tell, that it looks like about the fact that it looks like Ray, the Flying Squirrel, is going to be able to try to explore around on certain places first off, because obviously I'm going to be aiming for quite a lot of collectibles I can find. Like for instance, I keep on Oh, there's a hidden car over there too, which I will try to demonstrate that later. So, relatively speaking though, when it comes to like hidden vehicles and stuff like that, I will try my best to find them, but it's just the fact that it might not be, well, might not be the forms of the mandatory progression. It's just for bragging right bonus, I guess. So, aside from all that stuff though, yeah, another thing we would like to explain about this is the fact that recently we've managed able to order not 1, but 5 items based off on the PlayStation 2 games. Now, technically, we've already technically owned those games in the past, but somehow we sell them in the past, mainly because of the forms of trying to rearrange certain games that we'd like to able to play on our own time, including by the forms of played them on the go for PSP and stuff like that. Mind you, we've pretty much done purchasing stuff for the PSP because as far as I'm aware, that we actually got enough games as it goes by. So yeah, but at the very least we can able to enjoy tons of games on the PSP because gee, no wonder why PSP is doing very, very well in comparison to the PlayStation Vita was actually very, very poorly received. Yeah, especially noticeable when it comes to sales numbers, so... Because yeah, kind of think about it, between the forms of the PlayStation Vita, along with the Wii U, that both of those systems came out in 2012 of all things, that basically does the fact that those two systems are basically flopped altogether during the course of in 2012. Well, technically not in Japan though, well, generally speaking, because Japan is doing very, very well for PlayStation Vita owners, so at the very least that's something, I guess, so... Anyway, so let's go ahead and grab some more coins here, and sure enough, we able to actually, oh, look at that, we got 2021, but if we try to hit something like the street light, then we're able to get, look at that, the exact same number year, in this case 2022, the year we're currently on, so, how nice. Yeah, especially noticeable just trying to able to bring that reference up. So anyways though, yeah, with the forms of those PlayStation 2 games we've got so far, for the sake of the forms of trying to ordering them for the PlayStation 2, thanks to some fans out there, although I'll get into more details about that in a second, because the first game we did manage to order, and potentially speaking trying to get the item back, is Rayman Revolution, aka Rayman 2 Revolution on the PlayStation 2 in America. Now you guys are probably thinking that, hey, haven't you already got that game? Well, unfortunately though, is the fact that my game somehow broke. So because of that though, we have to buy a new copy, and thus because of this though, I'm not a big fan of the forms of the actual cover art, with specifically the platinum version of the actual, the cover of the game, because I have no idea why. Something about the forms of, well, let's just say the actual front cover, and with the actual, platinum color scheme with certain corners feels a bit ISO for me, but regardless of anything else though, I think it's okay enough, but it's just the fact that, well, the only difference is this time, however though, is the fact that we somehow managed to order the ones with the black label version, in this case the original packaging version, so it just makes it a little bit more nicer, thus the actual imagery of the box art looks much more better in size, so thus in comparison to the forms of how it does it on the platinum version, that the cover image is actually shrinked, so yeah, it just feels kind of out of place in my opinion, although it does manage to work just fine in the forms of the later releases for certain other PS2 games in my opinion, but regardless of anything else though, I think that's as far as I can think about it. And the next game we did manage to order, and that's the forms of Jak and Daxter, The Precursor Legacy. Well, despite the fact that we originally got the game back in 2012, but somehow that also the game is actually scratched up, and thus it will be unplayable during that time. So, relatively speaking, luckily for us though, we've got a new copy, which thankfully the condition is a lot more better than the forms of how it does it previously. So either way though, including with the forms of the manual included. So, I'm not exactly sure if that particular game will contain the actual manual though, but either way though, we'll have to wait and see what happens during the forms of the later days to come. Well, assuming if that arrives, so... And the next game we did got is the forms of the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, because after all, about the fact that we've already done SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom on the PlayStation 2 Let's Play back in 2020, just for the sake of the forms of trying to celebrate the release of the remastered remake, which in this case, Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. So, In some cases, though, is the fact that, relatively speaking, we might able to actually do the SpongeBob SquarePants movie Let's Play at some point in the future, specifically the PlayStation 2 version, because originally, though, we were trying to able to plan to get the Xbox version and the GameCube version of SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom, because usually most people find the game to be a fan-favorite SpongeBob game, which is absolutely true. But the problem with this is, though, is the fact that getting the GameCube version, specifically the European version, is actually a lot more difficult to get, especially noticeable that the pricing on the GameCube version is skyrocketing. So yeah, as a result though, it's kind of similar to the forms of any other GameCube games these days, especially noticeable in comparison to Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, Kirby Air Ride, as well as the forms of Mario Superstar Baseball, Mario Party 6 with the GameCube Mic bundle, and even Mario Party 7, and some other GameCube titles, which something is worth noting for the sake of time. Oh, including the forms of Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, so yeah, that might be sure it's something to worth noting for the sake of how expensive GameCube games are these days, especially noticeable in 2022 and onwards, because, well, luckily we still managed to got them, which we somehow managed to got those games for quite cheap, within a very damn good, very good condition and stuff like that. Sure, there might be some scuffles here and there, but regardless of such though, it plays absolutely well. So, yeah, including forms of well, Mario Party 7, and all the other stuff, So anyways though, so let's just go ahead and try to explore this particular area. So I need to not only get that collector card, but also there's actually another wasp camera up there. So I'm meaning to try to able to get to there somehow. So first off, oh, not much percentage, huh? Well, that's only mainly because I somehow got distracted by other things to focus on, such as, of course, wasp cameras to find, and on top of all that stuff though, just collector cards to find on top of that. And I wonder what that does. Oh, that's just a doorbell ringing, so I guess that's something, I guess. Despite the fact that you can able to interact with it loads of times, I guess, so I actually couldn't think about it though, right? It's the fact that how come you're not doing any single missions yet? Yeah, that's exactly what we want to know. Well, the thing is though, boys, is the fact that, relatively speaking, I'm just focusing on other stuff first, So yeah, let's get to the forms of the exciting parts for those you... Why do I get back in the car all of a sudden? Hold on, let me just park there, and that way I can go inside the Moe's bar place. So I think, relatively speaking, this might be the second and the final time we're going to be able to actually get inside the actual Moe bar, because apart from those side of things though, until whenever we move on to the next level, which should be level 6, then we pretty much expect how the fact that we can't able to actually go into Moe's bar place any longer. So yeah, let's just buy the army outfit, which does look pretty cool and inspiring, and let's just also purchase American outfit, which that'll be until for later. And finally, we can able to purchase the forms of, well, beast sharps. So yeah, that might be something that's so wicked with those outfits combined, so that way I'm also able to change to army outfit. So just to ensure to able to show you guys some variety when it comes to everything else that resides. And of course, before we leave, level gags. So there's always going to be on the exact same place. In fact, out of all the actual levels, in terms of the forms of the Simpsons Hit and Run, as far as you probably already noticed, this level doesn't have that much level gags. I'm guessing it's probably because, well, it's hard to explain of what that means though. But relatively speaking though, is the fact that, well, we obviously did already found some of them from the likes of the forms of the Moe's bar area, so yeah, that seems true though, especially noticeable because, well, there's not much level gags around here either. I mean, surely that's something, I guess. So anyways, let's go ahead and purchase ourselves, oh jeez, we got ourselves Color Truck and the police car. So I'll just purchase the Color Truck. Although it's nothing groundbreaking with the status though, but regardless of such though, let's purchase this awesome police car. Although, the only drawback with that vehicle though is the fact that it will still activate the actual, the hit and run meter if you somehow manage to catch a ride with the actual police car, so yeah, that might be seems a bit of a bummer, but regardless of such though, it knows what it is when it comes to gaming programming and stuff like that, so yeah, I guess that makes sense, I guess, but Either way though, because you might as well able to still increase the actual meter as you can see on screen, so relatively speaking there's not much else to say about this. So, is it possible I can able to reach up there without any vehicle? Of course I can. So, how's that for that one? So anyways, with that being said though, in addition to able to having ourselves, you know, Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy again, as well as the forms of well, Rayman Revolution, aka Rayman 2, and also say applies to SpongeBob SquarePants movie game on the PlayStation 2 again, thankfully with all that very good conditions this time, and also at the same time, those items are considerably the cheapest buy, so because of that though, gee, no wonder why every single PlayStation 2 games, well not all of them mind you, but a good chunk of them, well, to be more specifically, some of them based off from licensed video games and all the other jazz, that most of those PlayStation 2 games are now going to get a lot more cheaper, which I guess that's a good thing, especially because, well, no wonder why the PlayStation 2 is by far the best-selling video game consoles of all time, just because of not only playing PlayStation 2 games, but also you can play DVDs, play CDs combined into one. That's actually a pretty big deal back in the forms of in the 2000s, so yeah, because as a result though, then until at the very end of this year, that basically the PlayStation 2 will eventually become 22 years old during that time. Yeah, no wonder why time flies. So, let's get to the exciting part for those of you following through our YouTube channel for such a long time. Finally, after all these years to come, after all, we finally managed able to get ourselves two new, or one of them we technically already got back in the day, but somehow sell it just because condition of the box wasn't all that good. But as a result though, we finally managed to get ourselves the PlayStation 2 versions of not only Piglet's Big Game, so thankfully we can able to do a redo Let's Play at some point during next year, from the likes of the celebration of Piglet's Big Movie's 20th anniversary ever since in 2003, but also Winnie the Pooh Rumbly Tumbly Adventure. So yes, it's about time to able to finally get those games now, especially noticeable after so long to able to actually hopefully try to buy those games in particular, because I know you guys, or some of these fans out there, are really so desperate to able to actually just to get to those games. And I do apologize with the forms of some cancellations here and there, but it's just the fact that because the reason why we have to hold off for a moment instead of trying to cancel it forever is most notably because we need to get some spare time, especially noticeable because there's not much games we can able to actually just to pre-order anytime soon. Well, apart from the forms of the Sonic the Hedgehog 2, the movie on DVD and Blu-ray at some point, and also say applies to the forms of Sonic Origins for the Nintendo Switch, so that way we can play those amazing Sonic games on the go, including Sonic CD, as well as Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles. Well, mind you, we've now technically got two versions of Sonic 1 and 2 on the Switch, which are both related to Sonic Origins version, as well as the forms of the Sega Ages version, so it's the reason why we're probably going to be able to skip over the Switch Online membership services when it comes to Mega Drive games, because, let's be honest here, although it's pretty cool, but it's just the fact that it's just the actual paywall for that, you know, expensive price count. So, yeah, about time that we've now actually finally able to realize for you guys that we can finally seemingly to say that, yeah, Piglet's Big Game redo Let's Play will finally be happening during at some point until 2023, just in case for the 20th anniversary of, in my honest opinion, one of the coolest films I've ever seen. Well, despite the fact that usually, relatively speaking, it's just the fact that, well, I just always enjoy Piglet's Big Movie back in the day, especially noticeable in the DVD era. Well, despite the fact that we still haven't got it yet, but I've been meaning to, especially noticeable for my childhood memories. But as far as I'm aware, that, yeah, about time that we can finally dive right into the forms of Piglet's Big Game again, but this time hopefully with a much more better quality, and on top of all that stuff though, much more better commentary, hopefully. So because of this though, yeah, stay tuned for that. So, alongside with the forms of Winnie the Pooh's Rumbly Tumbly Adventure for the PlayStation 2 as well, because as far as I've heard, the actual game's engine kind of runs the exact same thing as in Piglet's Big Game, except with the fact that it does have a different developer or publisher, like for example like Phoenix, although, to be quite frank though, that it's nowhere near as the... darn it, I somehow messed up with that platforming jumps right there, because I see there's actually a collector card in the distance, but at least I'll be able to try this again, hopefully. So, anyway though, because usually, relatively speaking, that particular game, Winnie the Pooh's Rumbly Tumbly Adventure, well, we used to remember playing, I think Sonic did actually told me, or even Piglet actually told me about this, that one time he usually just managed able to play the Game Boy Advance version back in very long time ago, but unfortunately though, unlike the console versions that does have a save feature, whilst the forms of the handheld Game Boy Advance version does not. So instead, you have to rely on the archaic design choices by adding in passwords, which also applies onto Piglet's big game for the Game Boy Advance, and today applies to the forms of maybe Pac-Man World 2 as well on the Game Boy Advance, or potentially speaking, Pac-Man World 1 also for the Game Boy Advance as well. Seriously, why does some, quite a few Game Boy Advance games need to rely on password system in order to progress? That just doesn't make that much sense to me, unlike, well, several other Game Boy Advance games like Super Mario Advance games that, at least in those games, have save features on them. But anyways, enough about that, because let's hit into this particular point and start the first mission.
Oh, I have been selling tainted cola. Unless I redeem myself, I will be reincarnated as a sea cucumber, or worse, a land cucumber. I must find the source of this evil beverage. The soda invoice commanded I go here, but I see no cola factory. Oh, a cola truck. Time for me to do that Hindu that I do. Thank you.
And let's begin with the first mission in the Forms of N level 5, and this what appears to be incriminally Kathleen. So, yeah, we need to follow that color truck immediately, so that way we can able to don't lose track of ourselves, and I think we got able to collect all of these collectibles again. So, yeah, and this is where the mission starts to get a lot more difficult these days. Especially noticeable because we almost nearly at the end of the game, so relatively speaking, I'm pretty sure we're still on the halfway point of the entire game so far. So yeah, you get the idea about that. So, although originally we were expecting to able to get the PlayStation 2 game based around from the Powerpuff Girls, but unfortunately though, it's just the fact that we've seen the actual gameplay footage, and as well as the forms of the reviews alike, it doesn't look all that great though. We much rather prefer watching the 1998 series show, just because, well, obviously a lot of people have a lot of nostalgia with the older version of the Powerpuff Girls shows, just because unlike the crappy reboot in 2016, that a lot of people really despise it so much. So, and I'm very surprised that particular reboot show managed able to run like 3 seasons, which it doesn't seem all that much though. Yeah, because unlike the superior 1998 series, because obviously the 1998 version of the series is actually very popular, especially noticeable it's like, you know, action-packed feel to it, including with this awesome satisfying intro, because unlike the 2016 reboot, it's all like cheesy and it's almost like kid-friendly, or to be more specifically, almost like toddler-like. Well, I don't know about you, because, well, despite the fact that we have not actually seen any other episodes from the 2016 reboot, because we still used to with the originals, because, you know what I mean, the originals are classic and all that jazz, so... yeah, I can totally get the idea about that, right? Because, you know, the originals is so good. Yeah, because screw the rebooted version. Why the reboot version exists? It's able to get a lot of cash grab, or anything else to be more specific, but it just doesn't make that much sense to me. Yeah, I can appreciate about that stuff though, guys, because as far as I'm usually concerned with that stuff, okay, so... oh boy, this is what gets very tricky around here, especially certain items will be randomly placed someplace elsewhere, but I'm really hoping I don't lose track of myself. Okay. At least looking good so far, as far as, you know, not to lose track of ourselves for this point. Yeah, but hopefully we'll able to, I can assure to you, we'll able to actually meet up with, like, well, I don't know about you, because I need to focus here, so I don't want to able to lose track of myself, including don't want to fail this mission entirely, because if you fail this mission at all, you have to start all the way from the beginning, so that won't be the case, so... Alright, so one last item drops, and there we go. Mission has been accomplished. So yeah, let's move on to the next mission around here. So let's talk to this Louis fella.
Hello, stereotypical Italians. Please to tell me the source of the evil cola.
We don't know nothing. Except that the vans are controlled by mysterious strangers. Anyway, you shouldn't stick your nose in other people's business. It could come back to haunt you. And your family.
Oh my gosh. Your thinly veiled threat has reminded me of my fatherly duties. I'm supposed to pick up the octuplets at the doctor's.
And of course the next mission we have is, and baby makes 8. However though, here's the thing, we'll save that until for later, because what I'm gonna do is the fact that I'm trying to able to actually get that collector card first, and then also trying to go after that wasp camera as well in the process. So I need to get a vehicle again, so just in case I need to try to climb onto that particular little stairs and all that stuff, so that can mean something, alright? So 45.4% done of this particular level so far, so yeah, it looks like you kind of getting very quick when it comes to your progressioning for, well, let's just say level 5 and stuff like that. So yeah, because relatively speaking, that this game has a grand total of 5 different playable characters at this point in time throughout the majority of the game. Like, so far we've played as Homer Simpson, as well as Bart Simpson, as well as Lisa Simpson, Marge Simpson, and now Apu. So yeah, it seems like a very cool, interesting combination right there. I can possibly understand why that Maggie Simpson is not playable in this game, because it's pretty obvious, because she's a baby, of course, so... Because, you know, relatively speaking, she didn't do anything when it comes to the actual main plot of this game, so, yeah, apart from the forms that in the show, though, that's, basically, though, is the fact that, relatively speaking, she did quite a lot of stuff, ranging from using weapons most of the time, and even especially noticeable with, just anything else for this matter, so... Anyways, we got ourselves another collector card, and, that's pretty much as far as saying goes for this spot, so, anyways, let's go ahead and continue our progression in there. So yeah, as far as the forms of trying to do those specific Let's Plays in the future with all these, let's just say, movie license games or something like that, well, mind you, we've already done most of them anyway, stuff like, you know, Toy Story, Toy Story 2, Toy Story 3, specifically the Xbox 360 version, because... I don't know about you, but we might try to consider getting the PlayStation 2 version at some point in the future as well, because what I've heard, the PlayStation 2 version is actually a lot different than the forms of how it does it on the HD version of the game, the Xbox 360 version and anything else. Oh yeah, because of the forms of how the fact that while the graphics itself wasn't nearly as high, in comparison to the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 version, so I could possibly understand that, but regardless of such though, yeah, that's as far as we can able to try to explain about this, so... Alright, so we're just gonna have to avoid that particular car as it is, because obviously we just need to able to get away with that car, at least despite the fact that it was actually driving way too fast right there. Yeah, as far as I've noticed in this from the get-go, so we need to take a bit of a shortcut, so just in case we can easily lost him, so because of this though, well, we can just simply just do it from here, I guess. Well, despite the fact that it might... Oh, okay, that works for me. But we need to get away from another vehicle, so usually it just pops out of nowhere sometimes, and there we go. I think this mission is kind of easy though, kind of thinking about it, because if you take a bit of a shortcut right there, as you saw, then hopefully you should be able to do with this mission no problem. So that's all for that one. So anyways, let's talk to Dr. Hilbert. So what's he has to say?
I'm afraid we have a medical emergency.
Oh no, my babies!
Your babies are about to go to the bathroom all over my waiting room. And diapers aren't covered by your insurance. Ooh, you better hurry. I heard the parents of the Shelbyville 9 are grabbing every diaper in town.
I will get the diapers, but there's no way I could fit them in my car. Maybe Mr. Homer will have a large gas-guzzling American vehicle that I could use.
Alright, so just like before, we need to get ourselves the Homer's custom-built car. So, yeah, and in fact, no matter what though, I'm pretty sure that we need to pay about, roughly about so many coins for this point. So, but first off though, let me just go ahead and find Homer, or should I say find Homer quickly. So, yeah, let's just speak to him quickly.
Mr. Homer, sir, do you have an oversized vehicle that I might be borrowing?
Borrowing? No. Selling to you at an insanely high price? Yes.
Fine, whatever.
Alright, let's see. Oh, we're literally off by 10 coins. Ah, darn. Oh, we're literally so close for that too. Yeah, especially noticeable because, well, just gonna have to double check on any other items here and there, so hopefully you will guaranteed able to get the exact amount of coins. So, yeah, I'll just do that quickly, so just in case we're able to hopefully try to get the next vehicle, along with the forms of trying to get started with, I would say, the third mission in terms of level 5 already, so... But after all, the good thing we did manage to able to grind for more coins on our spare time, and also in addition to able to try to take down the insane amounts of those wasp cameras, and also say applies the forms of trying to explore and trying to find any other box crates that contains coins with, so yeah, that totally seems the case right here, so yeah, 49.6% done, so it seems that we've almost done with every single wasp cameras, including the level gags, so, because usually between those two categories right there, you've only got 2 left, so, yeah, but we'll save that until for later, so anyways, let's buy card build for Homer, and we immediately dive right into 8 is too much mission. So basically we need to grab every single diapers throughout the majority of this particular location. So yeah, because gotta think about it, oh wait a second, we do need able to deal with the amount of damage to the van, and that way we can get a laundry for pants. So, or specifically diapers for the babies, so or for their children as far as Apu goes. So, yeah, relatively speaking, it's self-explanatory. Especially noticeable, it really helps that the traffic might actually help me for once. Especially noticeable about the fact that, despite the fact that it takes place in one specific area, which is specifically on the town square, but regardless of such though, I think that's as far as we can able to try to say about this. Although, originally, we were trying to able to mention something related to the forms of let's just say, the Fall Guys announcements and all that stuff, but let's be fair for this point. I think we should probably save that conversation until next Monday, because, let's face it though, we are very, very happy about the fact that we finally managed to get ourselves Piglet's Big Game again, but this time on the PlayStation 2, within a much more better condition than the forms have been last time, so, especially noticeable, unlike the GameCube version where we had that for a long period of time. But as a result though, the game easily got scratched and it will be unplayable during it for that specific time. So, anyway, so now we've grabbed every single diapers, and now let's head back to the hospital, and we completed the, well, first off, let me just go ahead and talk to the, Dr. Hilbert, so that way we'll complete the mission.
Quickly, cover my incontinent children's tushies.
That was close. Another minute and my office would look like the Ganges River.
And there we go, mission completed, so nicely done. And I think we're pretty much at the halfway point right now for the sake of the forms of level 5. So yeah, because I'm pretty sure that you've only got about 4 more missions left. So yeah, let's have a look right here. 53.9% done. So yeah, it looks like it's getting there very quickly, kind of think about it. Because obviously you just managed to deal with these other side of things first, like, you know, wasp cameras and you name it. So, yeah, that totally seems the case. Oh, and by the way, I do apologize with the forms of the last video's uploading schedule, because for the love of God, the commentary has gone out of sync again, so I do apologize for that. So, with that being said though, we're gonna have to end things off at this point right here. So join us next time for more Let's Play of The Simpsons Hit and Run. Is the fact that we're gonna be continuing things on in level 5. And hopefully, we're able to complete every single story missions, if possible, in level 5. So we'll see you dudes later. Yeah, later fellas. Until next Monday. So, yeah, later fellas. See you then.